What is up, everybody? Welcome another edition of Drive for Show, DFS for Dough here on RotoGrinders. As usual, it's a Tuesday night. We're hitting our groove with the start of kind of where golf takes a little bit more importance on the calendar. Football is over and golf is here, and we're here to break it down for you every week. We've got Pebble Beach this week. We've got myself, Justin Van Zuiden, and Mr. Notorious, Derek Farnsworth, alongside as usual. Fun tournament, as always, last week in Phoenix. Seems like every year that tournament goes to a playoff right before the football game. I think they need to move those tee times up a little bit on Sundays, but still managed to watch the playoff because it was only one hole. So Chris Goddard over Hideki Matsuyama in the playoff. And yeah, it was a fun week of golf there in Phoenix. Noto, what's up?
What's going on? Yeah, the Phoenix Open going into a playoffs got to be the best bet you could ever make. I mean, every year it goes right into the Super Bowl. Luckily, Goddard kind of made it quick, or at least Hideki made it quick, and that it's right into the water. Man, I couldn't believe he was holding it together. He could not hit a fairway all day long.
3 fairways, I believe, in the final round.
I mean, and one of the ones he hit was on 17 and almost went in the water. So he got a generous kick there. He still lost 2.4 strokes off the tee and had a chance to win. So I was kind of rooting for Hideki. My dad and my wife both had them as their one and done pick. So they were had some investment in Hideki. But yeah, ended up being a fun week. I had a really good week of Showdown and pretty mediocre week of main slates.
Yeah, I had some pretty good rosters. I had quite a bit of Goddard. We talked about a lot of these guys that were at the top of the leaderboard: Siwoo Kim, Thor Bjornsson, Fitzpatrick, Cootie, all these guys populating the top 10 of the leaderboard. Hovland as well was kind of one of my lower owned high end picks last week. But by the time I went to import my rosters, I forgot, and all the big tournaments were full. So we had a couple of piddly ones and won about $75, I think. But it was a good week. Had good rosters. I always enjoy watching that tournament. Something to do on Sunday before the football game. So it was fun. I wish they would start it just a little bit earlier to make sure they get done in time. But kudos to Goddard for getting it done on the first playoff hole, and he's just been spectacular this year. It took him a little while to get his legs under him at the PGA Tour level, but he's looked every bit of a top-end player on tour so far this year. So good for him. Scheffler, first round 73 and still finishes in third place. I figured this was the one week where we just wouldn't hear much from Scheffler. Maybe he battles back on Friday and, finishes 20th or something. Absolutely horrible week, but somehow closes 65, 67, 64 and finishes third, tied for third, despite being 2 over par in his first round. So still pretty ridiculous when you come to think of it at the end of the week for him being able to scratch into the top 5 there. Another good week for him. Another good week for Siwoo Kim, who was up there as well. Thor Bjornsson had a chance on Sunday. Had a little problem on 16 and 17 on the back 9 there, but pretty good week for him as well. What else do you take away from last week?
Yeah, Goddard's been awesome. I remember we were playing him right when he first came on tour after he was
6,500
making some noise, and we were playing the bomber angle, but didn't end up working for a little bit, and now all of a sudden he's top 20 player in the world. So it's been awesome watching him kind of rise up the ranks. He's been pretty solid all around too. He's a bomber, but he's also been really good on approach, around the green, putting. And Scheffler, man, at one point on Friday on this front 9, I was like, hey, he might miss the cut.
Yeah.
His cut streak might come to an end here, and he finishes third. So, he was one shot out of the playoff, which is kind of crazy. He did have a kind of a lucky chip in on 14. But, another great week for him. I think he's gone 48 straight weeks without finishing outside of the top 10. Not events, but it's been 48
2 weeks. Over through 22 holes and finished in third place. It's not like this was a U.S. Open.
Pretty wild. Yeah, if he goes even par in those first 22 holes, he's winning. So kind of wild the run that he's been on. I'm sure we'll talk about him a lot here in a little bit. But yeah, it's good to see Hideki playing well. Siwoo Kim continues to crush. He's been on fire so far this year. It's good to see Hovland back in the top 10. He's quietly been playing some good golf. I think he has top 10s in like 4 of his last 6 starts, something like that. Your boy Daniel Berger was kind of up there. I think he led the field in strokes gained approach, at least on Sunday. And yeah, over for the tournament too. So guy that we might want to keep an eye on moving forward.
Yeah, gained 4.7 strokes on approach on Sunday alone. Pretty good week for him. Obviously, Sunday was his best round. He finished T16 for the week. In terms of disappointments, Corey Connors continues to struggle. Brooks had a rough week. Played better in the second round, but wasn't able to make the cut himself. Spieth, Finau, a couple other kind of bigger names that missed the cut as well last week. But most of the higher end guys did make it to the weekend. And yeah, always a fun tournament out there at TPC Scottsdale. So we'll put that one in the books for this year. We'll move along. We've got Pebble Beach to talk about, another Pro-Am. But this one is now one of the signature events. So there is a more limited field this week, and it's 80 golfers. They used to use 3 courses for this event when it was a full field event. Now, with there only being 80, we only have 2 courses at play this week. So similar to the setup we saw at Torrey Pines a couple weeks ago, where you just got 1 round on the Spyglass Hill course, and then the 1 round at Pebble Beach, and then after the first 2 rounds, Pebble Beach will host the weekend duties. So no, all 80 golfers will play the weekends, but I think they cut back like the number of amateurs that get to play the weekend, which is how they can go back to the 1 course. Anyway, used to be 3 courses at this event, but now just 2. And what do we know about Pebble Beach?
Yeah, I don't love no cuts, but I will take 3 rounds at Pebble over the 3-course rotation any day of the week. Pebble's an awesome course, and we'll obviously get to watch it all 4 days. And Spyglass is pretty cool too. I do wish we had Shot Tracker, but as far as Spyglass, can be played on one of the rounds, like you mentioned. It's par 72, just under 7,100 yards. The greens are pretty small there, 5,000 square feet. And then they feature Poana grass. And then Pebble Beach, another par 72, less than 7,000 yards. So one of the shortest courses on the PGA Tour, especially par adjusted. The greens are slow. The greens are tiny, 3,500 square feet on average, probably the smallest that you're going to see all year. And you're going to see a lot of less than driver holes on this course. There's a lot of forced layups. Guys only hit driver on 55% of non-par 3 tee shots last year, compared to last week. It was up to 91%. So guys were just bombing it away in Phoenix, but at this course, it's more of a, pick your spot off the tee type of course. And then, yeah, the greens, even though they're small, they are pretty easy to hit. So 67% green regulation last year. I think that could be due to the fact that the rough's probably down a little bit with the Pro-Am format. And then the scrambling success rate is pretty high here. So even if you miss the greens, it's not too hard to get it up and down. But I will note that a lot of good scramblers have played great at Pebble over the years, like Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, guys like that. I'm kind of looking for everything but off the tee. So approach, around the green, putting, and then since there's no cut, I'll probably bump up birdie or better percentage a little bit more than usual too.
So as of right now, it's raining right now at Pebble, and they have a gale warning for winds. It is also supposed to rain almost all day tomorrow. Thursday and Friday are supposed to be fairly nice, but then Saturday, 15-mile-an-hour winds. Sunday, 20 to 25-mile-an-hour winds with rainfall near half an inch. So, it's the Pebble Beach is pretty short, and it seems like it'd be pretty easy, but it is exposed. And if the wind blows, the scores get dramatically more difficult. Scoring will go up in a hurry. And so those weekend rounds, it's projected to be a little dicey, and everybody's playing Pebble for those 2 weekend rounds. So assuming this forecast holds, and then it's supposed to rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week in out there. So I'm kind of surprised that they keep this tournament this time of year. I mean, obviously it's pretty hard to just go haywire and changing all the schedule, but this just doesn't seem like the most optimal time with the weather out there. Anyways, heavy winds expected on the weekend, and with the small greens, I am bumping up the short game and the scrambling a little bit more now. Agree with Noto in not going for the off the tee stuff, but approach play and certainly guys who can get it up and down, make those 10-foot par putts is, I think, going to be pretty important come the weekend. at this event. So for what it's worth, seems like it might be dicey the last couple of days.
Yeah, I like that angle, especially it's kind of good that it's not the first 2 days and we don't have to worry about trying to play stacks and that kind of thing. I don't think I'm going to be worrying about which guys play which course on the first 2 days, but yeah, that's a good point. And like I said, historically, good scramblers have played well here anyway. So if we get some bad wind, that's only going to help those guys.
All right, so let's go ahead and start digging into the field this week. I saw at one point DraftKings released a no Scheffler slate. I don't know if that's been removed or not. I can't find it now. But there was some chatter in our projections channel about.
I saw Tambo post it.
Yes,
I don't. It might have just been a joke.
Maybe it was. I mean, somebody had said in our group that it looked legit. I don't know. In any case, it's not there anymore, and I thought that was going to be interesting if we rolled on with those. But alas, Scheffler in the field for everyone this week. He is 14K coming off of that backdoor third place finish, if you will, that we talked about last week. Rory's in the field this week. Obviously, this is an elevated event, so you're going to have most of the big names, but Rory is your defending champ at this event. Fleetwood rounds out your only other golfer priced above 10K on DraftKings. He's 10-2. Rory's 11-5. Scheffler is 14,000. But again, we have a no-cut format, and it's maybe a little bit more palatable with the strong field to try to find somebody around 6K that you like. So does that change the way you're approaching Scheffler? What are you doing with him this week? And if you don't like him on a points per dollar basis, do you prefer Rory? Do you prefer Fleetwood? Do you prefer starting lower?
Yeah, I mean, Scheffler's tough once again, just because if you play him, you're playing a lot of guys in the low sevens, high sixes. And I don't know, there's a couple guys that I feel good about, but I don't feel good about 5 of them. So I don't know, probably similar to last week. I'll probably be overweight on Scheffler and MME, and then I'll probably go more balanced in my single entry stuff, just because in MME, I don't have to look at how ugly the Scheffler builds look. I can just let the optimizer do its work. So that's probably going to be my plan. He's obviously the best play on the board, hands down. He's like 3-1 to win this week, and he's been great for a year straight, maybe 3 years straight now. So I like Scheffler, but single entry stuff, I think I'm going to start with – I like Henley a lot, but I don't mind starting with Fleetwood if I'm picking a guy above 10K. He's been in really good form over in Europe and 2 for 2 here. And if you think about his game, like he's really good on approach. He's a great scrambler. He's a really good putter. So he kind of checks all the boxes that we're looking for at Pebble. And then Rory, I don't mind Rory, obviously the defending champ here, but we just haven't seen a ton of him recently. And I don't know, I just don't feel super great about him this week, especially on a non-driver heavy course.
Yeah, on a non-driver heavy course, has a higher ball flight if it gets pretty windy. I'm okay passing on him this week. Certainly think he's fine if you want to play him, but I'd rather get up to Scheffler if I've got the money to. And again, I usually have tended to be a guy that just kind of skips, goes underweight on Scheffler. He's too expensive. He's going to be super highly owned, etc. Our early ownership numbers are relatively modest. I think in the 20s yet on Scheffler. Some people are going to see that start from last week, see that this is a non-driver heavy course, but his short game has come so far that, I think I'll be overweight Scheffler this week. I like him as a starting point in GPPs even, because I think, you can get different with maybe a couple of sub 5% owned guys if you get a little bit different in that 6K range, and I'm okay taking a shot on a few of those with a no-cut format. So a rare week where I'll probably be over the field on Scheffler. That hasn't happened too often lately, but I like the way it works this week. Probably underweight Rory and Fleetwood simply because if I've got the money to get up, I'm either going to go with Scheffler or start probably in the 9s. So even if I'm doing a single entry approach, I built one lineup with Scheffler and some punts that I would kind of like and call my single entry type of build. So don't think he's absolutely a must still at these salaries if you just don't like the way your lineup looks. But for what it's worth, I will be on him this week. All right, we go into the 9s. Interesting plays here. I mean, Hovland, we talked about him at the top of the show, and Siwoo Kim both have been playing great golf. Matsuyama almost got it done last week. Is there a hangover from that? He's been playing pretty well for 3 or 4 months now. Obviously, we saw Justin Rose dominate a few weeks back. Good course fit for Russell Henley. And then we've got last week's winner, Chris Gotterup, and a little bit of a scuffling Xander Schauffele in this 9K range this week, where I'd imagine if you're not playing Scheffler, you're probably starting with maybe 2 9K golfers. And you might like the way your overall lineup seems to look a little bit better without that big Scheffler salary tag in there. So I presume this is an approach you're maybe looking at with some of your lineups this week. And if so, who are a couple of your favorites in this 9K range?
Yeah, I definitely like starting in this range in single entry cash games. It makes you feel a lot better about your overall lineup. Henley's my favorite. He's actually second in my model this week. You mentioned the course fit. He hits fairways. He's elite with his approach game. He's very good around the green. And then, he's an above average putter. He finished 5th here last year, and he has 10 straight top 20s on the PGA Tour. So he's got form. He's got the course fit, got the course history. 9,200 is a pretty good price point for him too. I don't mind Victor Hovland at 9,900. So he's been playing much better, like we talked about, and he's had 3 decent finishes here. He also won the 2018 USAM at Pebble Beach, so he's got some good vibes coming back here. And I just think his game's trending in the right direction. I think he's gonna have a really nice year. Siwoo Kim's been playing great. Obviously, tee to green monster right now. He's finished 3rd, 2nd, 6th in his last 3 starts, and he's finished top 15 at this event in the last 2 years. So I think he's going to be a popular starting point. Hideki worries me with the driver right now. Rose has the great course history, and he's so hit or miss that I'll probably let others chase him at this price point. And then, yeah, kind of the same thing with Gotterup. Just take the driver out of his hands a little bit, worries me. So in this range, I like Henley, Hovland, and Siwoo.
I am back on the Siwoo train this week as well. I mean, you look at the way he's been playing, just absolutely fantastic golf. We mentioned it off the top of the show, and he also tends to play the same course as well. We've talked about that in the past. Tee to green, over 13 strokes gained on the field last week. I believe he was second only to Gotterup from tee to green last week, and a pair of top 15s here the last couple years. So that's a great combination. He's become super consistent with that upside as well. He's got the 3rd best odds behind just Scheffler and Rory, depending on where you look to win. So I am in on Siwoo as well. Pretty much in agreement on this range. I worry a little bit about Hovland now that he's the 4th most expensive guy. I know he's been more consistent lately, but the chipping still worries me. And with the wind and the small greens, probably out on him this week, even though I was a big fan of his last week. I greatly prefer Siwoo or Henley if you're going in this range. And then Hideki, who Noto mentioned as well. Seems very weird to see Justin Rose at 9,400 after one big week. Probably out on him as well. Anything else on the 9K and up for you?
That's it for me.
All right, let's go ahead and move down into the 8Ks. Patrick Cantlay just kind of feels like he's a little bit lost right now. Not really getting talked about all that much. He's 8,900. He's here. Look at his results in the past at this event. He does have a 3rd and a 4th, but those are back a few years. 33rd here last year. I'm just, I don't know, can't find myself pulling the trigger on Cantlay right now. You've got guys like Thor Bjornsson, McNeely, Fitzpatrick, Ben Griffin, all just below him in salary that are all playing much, much better golf right now. So I just think that's the angle you want to take if you want to go with these guys. I'm kind of torn between Fitzpatrick, who's coming off a 9th place finish last week, and Thor Bjornsson, who's coming off. He's part of that group at T3 and had the lead basically when he came off of 15 and then bogeyed his next 2 holes. So, he's just been a guy that I've liked for a while, and he's starting to show his upside at the PGA Tour level as well. So I like those guys a little bit better than Cantlay. But then you got Day, Griffin, Ludwig, McIntyre, Cam Young in this 8K range as well. Again, pretty deep field this week. So who are you liking in this tier?
Yeah, definitely like this range too. Fitz is probably my favorite. 9th place finish last week. He did have a couple bad shots that kind of took him out of contention, but It was his first start over here. He's been playing great for like 9 months now. I think he's made 21 straight cuts. He's been super consistent. He's got a win during that stretch over on the DP World Tour. So similar to Hovland, I kind of think it's going to be a breakout year for Fitz. And then, yeah, Thorbjornsen, I'm torn on what to do with him just because he gained so many of his strokes off the tee. But the irons have been good. The around the green has been better recently. So I don't know what to do there. McNeely's a California guy. I don't mind looking at him. I like Cantlay a little bit too at 8,900. I don't know how much upside Cantlay has at this point, but it seems like he's pretty good bet for a top 10. Jason Day's kind of the course history guy. The stats are never going to look good with Jason Day. I don't know how he always plays so well, but yeah, the course history's there. He's finished second a few weeks ago. So
I think we have him as the lowest owned guy of anybody we've gone through so far as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at any stats, you're just never going to land on the guy. But I do like him. I like Ben Griffin. I'll keep going there. We talked about it last week that our expectations of him have changed. Like he's finished top 30 in all 3 starts this year, and he's underwhelmed. You know, we've been disappointed. So he's another guy that is very good on approach, around the green, and putting. The course history is not great, but I think he's just so much better golfer than he was the last 3 times he's teed it up here. And then I don't mind Bobby Mack at 8,200. He's been playing really well over the last 4 months. He's like top 5 in the field in strokes gained per round. So, yeah, I like a lot of the guys in this range. And then we talked about Daniel Berger's approach numbers. He's won here before. Good iron play last week. I think I could talk myself into that too.
Yeah. And Ludwig, I mean, we both got to agree at Ludwig. We got to see something before we go back there right now. I would think he had that illness or didn't want to play, a few weeks back, and then was almost dead last on a course that was a better fit for him. Now we don't have a driver heavy course. Like Ludwig's he's a pass right now for me anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Especially in a no cut event. Like if you get a WD, you're basically dead. So I agree. He's eventually going to pop and start playing well again, but I don't want to risk it this week.
All right. I totally agree on Berger. He's right there as well at 8,000. I think you've talked both of us into going back to him a little bit this week with that approach numbers last week. I think he's a pretty strong play. Jake Knapp is another guy as we get right into the top of the 7Ks that's been playing pretty steady golf to start the year. 11th in Hawaii, 5th at the Farmers, and 8th last week. Feels like more of a bomber that people maybe aren't going to be as inclined to play this week. But if you are a believer in that current form holding some weight, then Knapp has been playing pretty well. 133rd place finish here is all he has to his resume, but Shane Lowry is right below him. He was runner-up here last year. And then a few guys that have maybe been a little bit more hit or miss, like Spawn and Morikawa. Their prices are all the way down into that upper 7K range. Kind of interspersed with guys that have been playing okay. Harris English, Pearson Cootie. The price tag was the first kind of surprise I saw this week. I know it's a strong field, but he's been playing pretty good. We got Ricky Fowler, Keegan Bradley, Harry Hall, Ryan Gerard getting us down to that $7,500 salary point. Yeah, I don't know. Cootie stands out to me. I get it. He's a first timer, but the guy's been playing pretty spectacular golf for about 6 months now, and I'm not sure why he's priced at 7,600. So I will keep playing him. Who are your favorites in 7,500 and up?
Yeah, the model loves JJ Spawn this week, and I don't know what to do with that because he missed a cut at the Farmers, and then he withdrew like right before he was supposed to tee off last week. So I don't know. I feel pretty good about it. If he's going to be less than 10% owned, it seems like he's fine. It wasn't an injury, I don't think. It was undisclosed for the reason why he withdrew. He's number 6 in the world. He coming off of a career year. He's been decent at this course in the past, so if nobody's going to play Spawn, I'll be overweight on him. I like the Cootie call. Just playing great. 4 straight top 20s. No issue with him whatsoever. Seb Straka, one of the better iron players in the field. Everything else is kind of hit or miss, but I think he was top 5 in tee to green last week at the Phoenix, and then he finished 7th here last year. Shane Lowry is another interesting guy for large field tournaments. He's been playing a little bit better over on the DP World Tour. And he had the high finish here last year. So I think there's some interesting options. Can maybe even play a little Ricky Fowler. He's back at least on a consistent level, and it's nice to see him in these signature events again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just kind of been rolling along with some top 20s. So kudos to him for maybe not being back to the elite top tier status, but enough to get in a field that's only got 80 of the best golfers on the PGA Tour is certainly nothing to scoff at. So good for him. Gerard's been playing good golf as well. Just top 20 machine. I'm okay with him this week. Especially because I don't love the lower end of the 7K range. Like we talked about, Pendrith, I'm not playing on a less than driver course. He's been a little shaky as well. We kind of talked about Nick Taylor being that guy that always plays the same courses well that we tend to ignore. This is not one where he has his like absolute best course history. If you believe Tigala is back, he's probably the best value at 7,300 compared to where the odds are at. I think he's around like 70-1 to win. Most of the other guys in this lower 7K range are around 100. But that's not the be all end all, obviously. But Tigala's at 7,300. If you're on the short game train this week, somebody like JT Poston maybe is on your radar. But I just don't. We haven't seen anything from Corey Connors recently. I do not love a lot between 7K and 7,400. I really can't find anything where I feel like, hey, I've got to play this guy. Anybody standing out to you in there?
I would have liked Spieth a little bit if he would have made the cut last week, but I think we can officially keep avoiding him for now. You mentioned Nick Taylor in the course history. What?
For now, avoid him for now. Just avoid him forever.
Until the Masters, and I'll get sucked in again. But you mentioned the Nick Taylor course history. It doesn't look great over the last 5 years, but he won here in 2020, so maybe he's still a good course history guy. Again, anytime he has that good course history, I don't mind it. I don't mind Pendrith in tournaments. He's coming off of a couple miscuts in a row, but he's got 2 top 10s at this event in the last 3 years. And then you can go with Aaron Rye, the good ball striker. You can go with Alex Noren, the good scrambler. But I'm kind of with you in that there's not a lot of like great options here.
I think I'm going with Poston and hoping he just rolls in a bunch of putts if I'm going with somebody down there.
Which is very, very like JT. So
it's possible. It's possible.
Speaking of JT, where's Justin Thomas been? Is he hurt?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think so. He had surgery with a disc problem in his hip in November. So he has been cleared to resume golf activities. Let's see. It says his routine. He's going to return when the Florida swing starts, which should be in March. So
nice.
A couple weeks, he'll be back. All right, let's go. So again, don't love a lot in the lower sevens. Remember, we've only got 80 golfers in the field this week, so it's not like we've got 50 guys to choose from in the 6Ks. It's a lot less than usual, but at least these guys tend to not be no-name players. I mean, Hisatsuni had played pretty well last week. I think he made a putt on 18, I believe, that got him into the field this week because he got in the top 10. But Jaeger and Hoey, I mean, these are guys we've played recently. Finau got some ownership last week, but missed the cut again. So a lot of these guys are in a little bit rougher form. But if you're playing Scheffler, like you can't just avoid the. I said I don't like a lot of guys in the lower sevens. You can't avoid the sixes either. I mean, if you want to play Scheffler, you've got to find somebody you want to take a chance on in this range. A couple for me would be, again, if you want to play the short game angle, Denny McCarthy. We haven't seen a lot of upside from him, but he's still been making cuts. So it's not like he's that far off. McCarthy at 6,800, I think is playable. If you want to play the course history angle, another past winner here is Tom Hoagie, who's at 6,500, has played really well here in the past. His form has been quite a bit more shaky. If you're looking at any type of longer term statistics, they aren't great. But again, if you just want to play that course history angle, maybe he finds something here. There's Hoagie once again has better odds than a lot of the others in this range as well. So Hoagie and McCarthy are my 6K punts. What do you got in here?
It's ugly. You either have guys that are in good form and no course history or bad course history, or guys that, have okay course history and terrible form. So single entry, I wouldn't mess with this range. Sam Stevens is actually the one guy he's 2 for 2 here. He's made 4 straight cuts with all top 35s in his last 4 events. So he's the one guy that's got a little bit of both. Well, he's 7K, so never mind. I take it back.
That's all right. It counts. If we didn't talk about him, you can count him.
I don't mind McCarty. He's not great off the tee, but he's pretty good everywhere else. So he's another one of those guys that's really good short game. Hisatsune coming off of back-to-back top 10s is a little bit interesting. He can get hot with the irons and the putter. Balamaki, I don't know. I don't feel great about this range, which is kind of why I don't like clicking on Scheffler and small field stuff.
Yeah, fair point. There's going to be a couple guys that pop for a top 20 in this range. It's just a little bit difficult to peg who that's going to be. Again, Denny McCarthy, Hoagie are probably my GPP options. Hisatsune, if you're looking for something maybe a little bit safer. In addition to his 10th last week, he was second at the Farmers as well. So pretty good current form for him. He's probably my cash game type of punt play in that range. I'll probably put him in a GPP pool as well. All right. I did confirm before the show that it seems like the 6-man snake drafts on DraftKings are simply a thing of the past. I think they've retired them. They don't even exist for like NBA contests. So it's all just the 3-mans now. So we'll have to retire those from the show. Maybe for like the Masters or something, they'll bring it back. I'll keep an eye out. We can petition them to bring those back, just for the sake of our show. But I don't see any for this week, and so yeah, it'll just rest in peace to the snake drafts for now. And again, pretty limited field this week, so I think we're pretty much through it. Anything else for you before we hop off?
Couple people talking in the chat. We got a question. Does Pearson Cootie's form outweigh his inexperience at Pebble? I say yes. I think it's perfectly fine. Another guy asking if Siwoo is a strong player in the wind. I'm not sure about that, but he is a very good ball striker, so I would assume so. Do you know anything more than I do?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I don't have those splits in front of me either. Another thing that I come across, some people might be worried about Thor Bjornsson with a lack of course history as well, if you look at that. But Thor Bjornsson went to Stanford and made the cut here while he was in college as an amateur. So if that helps you feel better about him, I wanted to throw that nugget out there as well.
Very nice. And then one other question, is Fox okay to pair with Scheffler?
I love Ryan Fox as much as anybody, but I don't think I can play Ryan Fox here.
I don't think it's a great course fit, but he's been playing. He has.
Cuts. Maybe he's more than just the driver now.
Maybe.
Look, if you're playing Scheffler, you're going to have to hold your nose and play somebody. Like, I can't. Right. I'm sitting here recommending Tom Hoagie, so, it's you got to hold your nose with something if you're playing a lot of Scheffler.
Yep, that'll do it.
All right. Thanks as always for tuning in. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and get notifications whenever we go live. If you're new here, every Tuesday, usually around 7:15 Eastern, sometimes 7:45 when NBA locks a little bit later, like it did tonight, but always in this same time vicinity. We've got another signature event next week. It's 2 in a row. I don't love that they do that 2 weeks in a row, but the Genesis at Riviera, which usually plays as a pretty difficult course, that's on the agenda next week. Before the Cognizant Classic is a little bit of a breather before we head to March, and we've got 2 big events with the Arnold Palmer and the Players to start the month of March. So some pretty big events coming up, and we'll be here each and every week to break those down for you. And with that, we will sign off for this week. Thanks to Noto for joining me as always. Thanks to Steve for working hard behind the scenes for us. Always appreciate his help. For them, I'm Justin. Hope you all have a great week. Good luck in all your contests. Enjoy Pebble Beach, and we will see you back here next week, everybody. Take care.